Hello and welcome back to another video. My name is Andy and you're watching FPL Malvo. It's my team selection video ahead of Game Week 9 for you today. So we'll have a look at how I did in Game Week 8 and we'll look at my transfer plans and how my team is shaping up ahead of Game Week 9. If you enjoy these videos, or even if you don't enjoy them, if you drop a like, then that is massively appreciated by me. So Game Week 8 was a nice green arrow for me. I think I was around 600k and I've gone up to 366,000, which is really nice. It was 56 points all out. If you take a little glance at my team, you'll notice I had 10 players playing this week, 4 injuries and a non-playing centre forward. So yeah, of 10 players, I'm pretty pleased with how the week went. Start off in goal, I went with Turner anyway over Flecken, and he got a clean sheet. That was delightful. Flecken's injury is a bit of a mystery to me. I don't know why I didn't start, because I've seen some reports that say he's out for a month, and then I've also seen reports that said it was sickness and that he's going to be straight back after the international break. Yeah, that's one for press conferences for me, really, to see whether I have to deal with that. In defence, you got a clean sheet for Pedro Porro. He actually had a very decent chance to score as well, and sort of showed the reason why I went for him over Doggy. Yeah, it was a one-on-one with the goalkeeper and he put it wide. And yeah, I love seeing a right back getting into a one-on-one with a keeper position. But 6 points from him, still pleasing. Nothing for Matty Cash. That was I don't know. I feel like Wolves is always a clean sheet opportunity, so that's a bit of a shame, but such is life. Kieran Trippier, again, kind of proving why it's worth going for him over the other Newcastle defenders. They conceded twice, but he still walked away with 6 points off a clean sheet. So the midfield, Saka obviously didn't play, which nothing from him. And Burmo, 2-pointer, another disappointment, really. Rashford 2.8 has been really poor. I went Maddison captain because I didn't fancy Haaland against Arsenal. And yeah, like I think captaincy was quite split, and Maddison did better than Haaland and Son, who were really highly captained. So I can't really complain. Like that's a decent result. Obviously, Salah captain will be way out in front, but that's fine. I was never going to captain Sterling. So 6 points from Maddison was good. And yeah, Sterling, I wanted to get rid of him from my team for a few weeks. I think he's been playing really well this season, but he's in a poor attack, a poor Chelsea attack. And it's really the first time it's clicked this season. So yeah, I think there's a degree of he's been unlucky or I've been unlucky not to get any points from him really for the last few game weeks. And then there's also a huge degree of luck that I still have him in my team for his 16-point haul. I still don't think it makes a difference. I think Sterling is still going to be leaving my team. But it sort of makes it worthwhile owning him for the last few weeks. He's been really, really poor, but it kind of averages his points out to being average. So yeah, Sterling's one of the main reasons that it's a green arrow. Delighted with that. And nothing from the City boys up top. Alvarez is a slight concern for me. Just because City's fixtures are quite tough, and obviously I don't own Ollie Watkins, who's raking in the points at the moment. And Haaland, I'm not concerned about at all. He's got away on international duty and scored a couple of goals, and I think he will be back in the goals very soon. So yeah, 56 points. Another pleasing week. Feel like I'm kind of getting away with it at the moment with the wildcard and not having been used. But let's have a look how the team's shaking up for next week because there is one or two issues. So, as you can see, there is a lot of yellow flags across my team. I do think I've been a bit unlucky with injuries. I think in the last few weeks I've had Henry, Chilwell, Stupinian, Botman, Bayer, and Flecken, and that is just from the defence and goalkeepers that have all been injured. Goalkeeper is a big concern for me going forward. I would play Turner again against Luton at home. I fancy a clean sheet in that for Forest. So I don't mind if Flecken is just going to be out for 1 week and then be back afterwards, or if he is back, he's still going to sit on my bench, I think, even though that Burnley fixture is also nice. The problem is I've looked at the fixtures and really they don't look good for either team. Like they don't sort of swap nicely as a pairing, those two keepers, Turner and Flecken. They seem to both have decent matches or both have difficult matches in the same game week. So I really hate making a keeper change, but I think it's something I've got to put a little bit of thought into going forward. So defence looks really good for next week. Cash, Trippier, Pedro Porro all at home. I think I glazed over the fact that Pedro Porro was my transfer last week. As soon as the Stupinan was ruled out for a long period of time, as I ended up playing Bayer, who of course also picked up an injury, and I wasn't sure whether Saka was going to be fit, and he wasn't. I was just worried I wouldn't have enough players again, which I didn't, but at least I managed to get a few points out of Paro. So delighted to own him going forward. I like that fixture. It's a nice home one against Fulham. I think Botman would be on my bench anyway, but doubling up on the Newcastle defence against a Crystal Palace team that's missing Eze and Elise certainly wouldn't be an issue for me. If I heard that he was definitely back, I could make a decision on whether, possibly somebody like Sterling, who's got Arsenal, might be benched instead. But I do have transfer plans, so we'll see what happens there. Midfield in Burma is still going to be in my team. Burnley at home. I think I'm probably eyeing up Mitoma pretty soon. I think the Brighton fixtures are coming nice. And yes, there's massive rotation there. But if I can get some players back fit, for example, I think if Botman is fit this week, then I've got 4 really good defenders. So I don't mind if Mitoma gets the odd rest and I have to bring in one of those. But we'll see. Saka, Chelsea, it's not the easiest game, but I want to hold on to Saka long term. Kind of the opposite with Maddison, who has a nice fixture this week, Fulham at home, but I have slight concerns over the fixtures going forward for him. But there's bigger issues, so he's a definite hold. And that Sheffield United fixture for Rashford looks really, really nice. And despite the fact that Rashford has been terrible, there's a little bit of me that really doesn't want to sell him. And then up front, of course, it's the Man City boys, Alvarez and Haaland. I've actually got Haaland as captain and Alvarez as vice at the moment. I love Brighton. They're such a good team to watch. But they also have a habit of, leaking a few goals. They're not the watertight defence that we've seen, maybe in the past, maybe under Graham Potter, they were a bit better defensively, but yeah, certainly not as good going forward as they are now. So I can see some goals in that one. I wouldn't expect to see a clean sheet either. So yeah, I really hope for a return to form from Haaland. It's quite hard to judge whether he's off form or not because he's often so uninvolved with City that he's kind of either scoring goals or he's not scoring goals. The actual everything else on the pitch is sort of irrelevant anyway. So I don't think you could say he's necessarily out of form. He just hasn't got the points really I would have liked in the last couple of weeks. But that's our team shaping up. I've got 2 options, I think, in terms of transfer plan. The first one is to roll the transfer. I have players that I want to get in, and it's my midfield that I want to shake up. I mentioned Mitoma, but I don't want to bring him in against City, so he's not really an option for me this week. The 2 other players that I'm eyeing up are Gordon and Salah. So the likely people to leave my team this week will be Rashford and Sterling, so that Gordon and Salah can come into the team. I'm not totally happy with this, if I'm honest. It will be for a -4. I don't mind taking a -4, but I don't think it massively improves me this week. Marcus Rashford has just scored with England and played really well. Apparently, I didn't actually watch the game, but however poor he's been this season, selling him before Sheffield United is not ideal because I think that's a really targetable fixture. And Salah against Everton, I really like, but I'm still going to captain Haaland. I really like Haaland at home against Brighton. So there isn't the upside that there would have been if it was a week where I was going to captain Haaland, such as next week, which I probably will captain Salah. And Sterling, it's important not to chase points. My plan was to sell Sterling. Their fixtures turn, and I think now is the right time. They've got Arsenal this week, and it's a bit of a tough run afterwards because, of course, it is. They've had a really decent fixture start to the season. So yeah, I think his returns are likely to be diminished. They haven't been that great anyway for me, aside from last week. But yeah, it seems mad to sell him after a 16-pointer, but you can't look backwards. You need to try and predict who's going to get the points in the future. For the same reason, I think there's a chance Trippier will leave my team in the next few weeks. Newcastle's fixtures get a little tougher. If Botman comes back to fitness, I think I will accept the fact that I think he's got 5 assists in the last 4 game weeks. That's unsustainable. And I think Botman is enough to cover the Newcastle defence. I would have loved to have had the double up for this little run, but obviously Botman's injuries kind of robbed me of that. So yeah, I think that Rashford and Sterling need to go for Gordon and Salah for a hit. I probably just need to make that transfer tonight because I think that Salah is going to rise in price at any point, and I have absolutely no money in the bank after I make that change. It's the same reason why I can't just do Gordon to Sterling this week and then Salah to Rashford next week because I don't think I'll be able to afford that by the time that rolls around. So yeah, that's the transfer plan. As soon as I finish recording this video, going to have to pull the trigger on it. That's it for my team selection ahead of Game Week 9. If you enjoyed the video, then give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think of my team, my transfer plans, and most importantly, am I just being stubborn by not pulling the wild card? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on another video.